Hello and welcome to Glow TV. This is where we give you updates on issues happening in Nigeria, cutting across different stratas of the economy. And we have another strata of economy that we're looking at today, and it's the social strata. And today we are looking at the topic impulse buying. You're welcome to Glow Chat Room on Glow TV, where we talk about it the way it is. So today we're looking at impulse buying. My name is Comfort or Molafe. Before we delve into what impulse buying is, the festive period is fast approaching, and of course, some persons are already into the season. But let me ask you, do you have a plan of the things you need to buy this season? Or you do not have a plan? Or it's just how much you have, or how much you prefer to, spend, or how much is available that you would spend? Which of these, resonates with you? We'll go on a short break now. When we return, the program continues shortly. This is Glow Chat Room on Glow TV. Please stay tuned.
This is Glow TV. New episodes every week.
You're welcome back to Glow Chat Room on Glow TV, and today we are looking at impulse buying. In case you're just tuning in, my name is Comfort or Molafe. Impulse buying, is an unplanned, spontaneous purchase made on the spot, often triggered by emotions, sometimes advertising or store displays, leading to an immediate desire for something you don't intend to buy. And it happens to you and I, like candy at a checkout or a tempting online offer, contrasting with planned purchases and driven by instant gratification. Retailers leverage psychological tactics, like creating urgency or appealing, to moods to encourage this spur of the moment, decisions, which range from small items to larger ones. And of course, the first thing is unplanned. The things you do on impulse buying are usually unplanned. You weren't intending to buy it when you entered the store or browsed online, but immediately you got there, you find it attractive. Oh, this item is beautiful. I need to get this, I need to get that. That's because you have the money in your pocket. So how do you then save when you go on impulse buying? That's another question for another day. Spontaneous, the decision happens quickly just before the purchase. Emotion driven as well is another thing that you need to look out for, often linked to mood, stress, excitement, or a craving for immediate reward, and triggered by environment sometimes. Effective advertising, appealing displays and checkout placements play big roles on impulse buying. So, which of all this resonates with you? Now, let me give you the common triggers and examples. Checkout lines like candy magazines, small gadgets, retail therapy, buying to alleviate stress or sadness. You just like, oh, this, it could just be a radio set, or probably a kid pad, for children, or anything that catches your fancy when you see them. Oh, those things would just make me while away time, to make me, unwind, things like that. And especially not planned for. Fear of missing out is another thing. FOMO, flash sales, limited time offers, or buy three get one for free. Promo is ongoing. Everyone is doing promo at this time. Or even on our radio channel, yes, we have the adverts, a promo where you get to pay for three and you get only things like this. People would want to, participate, especially those who have things to do with business this period. The fear of missing out on goodies and, promos. That's why you see people even going to purchase things they do not need. They might just say, oh, for this hair condition, or for this cell phone, for this handbag, for this shoe, we are giving you a 50% discount, or a dress. Who wouldn't go for it? I will definitely go for it, but hey, it has to be planned. So whatever it is you're doing this period, make sure that it is planned. Then remember, or the reminder impulse, as people know it to be, seeing an item that reminds you that you need to buy something else. Example, toothpaste when buying bread, or toothbrushes when buying sponge, things like that. We had to look at those things that resonate with this period, because the festive season is fast approaching, and some persons are already into it. And on Glow TV, we are ready. If you look at our compound everywhere, you would notice that, hey, Christmas is already at the door. Now how to curb impulse buying. But before we look at how to curb impulse buying, let's look at how it differs, from compulsive buying. Do you even know what it means to get yourself involved in compulsive buying? This program would help you know so much about compulsive buying. Impulse buying, a single unplanned purchase, a single one, singular, meaning just one. While compulsive buying, a recurring hard to control behavior that becomes a pattern, often with negative consequences. Like sometimes they say, oh, it's part of me, oh, I'm so used to it. And of course it has consequences, but they really do not, mind the consequences. And that because they have the money. But sometimes that money you have used on that compulsive buying, you could actually use it for something else. It becomes compulsive when it keeps happening over again, and you cannot even control it. You're going to the market, you've written it down, you have your itinerary that, oh, I'm just going to the market to just get a pack of detergent or anything. You have them outlined, and you go to the market and you're seeing something else. You're seeing a beautiful shoe, and that's not the first time. You keep doing that all over again. You did it during Easter period, and you're going to do it again during this Christmas period. You need to put yourself in check, and of course that is signaling impulse buying to you. Now, how to curb it? Some persons say, can I really curb it? Yes, of course you can discipline yourself. The first thing is mindset shift. You need to have a mindset shift. Once you have that mindset shift, like, I am not going to do this, oh, this is how I should be doing it. This is how I need to be disciplined, because you need to be financially disciplined. Let me ask you, how many times have you stick to your budget? Not like you do not have so much to spend, but you do have so much, but you want to cut your coat according to your clothes. It doesn't mean that you cannot buy more clothes, but it means at that time, that's the material you want to use, and that's the number of quantity or yards that you want to use, and you need to make a suit or a coat out of it. So you work around it. That's where budget comes to play. And let's look at, how to curb this impulse buying. You need to make a list first and then stick to it. Sometimes some persons would say it's very difficult, writing down a list and sticking to it when you go to the market, especially if you have that compulsive buying behavior. When you go to the market, you're already written your items down to get, and then you go there. After buying all of that, you see other things that you did not plan for, and you still get them. So that's why you need to make a list and stick to that list if you want to actually curb impulsive buying. All right, you also need to set a budget and allow for fun spending within it. Yes, create time, enjoyment money. Yes, enjoyment money, whatever way you want to call it, fun money. After budgeting for anything, that important thing, buying that stocks, buying the goods, investing in that business, investing in that plan and all that. You also need to budget money for fun, for enjoyment. So you can actually, or you call it miscellaneous. So you can use this money to, probably do other things that make you happy. You also need to give yourself a cooling off period before buying non-essentials. Take your time, breathe. Allow your money to breathe. Planning also requires you to breathe. So ensure that you breathe too. while trying to, get more things for yourself, giving yourself a cool off period before buying non-essentials. Think about it. Ponder on it. Is it important? Do I need it now? After this season, will I still need this thing? Will it still be useful? Think about it. All right. You also need to shop online sometimes with fewer tabs open to reduce temptations, because if you have your tabs all open or you're all over the social media, you just find yourself getting things that you just see on social media, not necessarily things that you need. All right, we're gonna short break now. When we return, the program continues. This is Glow Chat Room on Glow TV. Please stay tuned.
This is Glow TV. New episodes every week.
Now, you're welcome back. It's still Glow Chat Room on Glow TV, and we are looking at impulse buying. We've talked about the types of impulse buying, but there are other ones that we have not mentioned. 4 types of impulse buying behavior. There are distinct types of impulse buying, and the first is pure reminder, suggestion, and planned impulse buying. The pure impulse buying, the reminder impulse buying, the suggestion impulse buying, and the planned impulse buying. So which category do you belong to? Pure impulse buying is a novelty or escape purchase which breaks a normal, buying pattern. And the second one is a reminder impulse buy. It occurs when a shopper sees an item or recalls an advertisement that was seen, probably on TV, or probably in an open space or on radio or online, depending, just as the case may be. So we're looking at impulse buying. What does it resonate with you? Impulse buying. In the field of consumer behavior, an impulse purchase or, impulse buying is an unplanned decision by a consumer, you and I, to buy a product or service and made just before a purchase. Trust me, one who tends to make such purchases is referred to as an impulse purchaser or impulse buyer. So let's ask you, are you an impulse buyer or you are an impulse purchaser, as the case may be, or you're an impulse observer? There's some persons who would go to the mall or even go to the grocery store, and just go. Do you know what I'm supposed to say now? Window shopping. You go there for window shopping. Some persons just go to any supermarket and just go or mall and, price things that they know they're not ready to buy. I think you can do that. So when you like those things at that moment, while you're sticking to your budget, while you have it written down and planned, don't go with your ATM cards, all right? And drop your cards at home. Make sure you really do not have data at that time, so you are not tempted to do transfer, to purchase that item that you did not plan for. So while going for window shopping, you might just, how much is this? How much is that? A whole lot of persons are buying Christmas trees, caps, lights, beautifications, and all that this period. Remember, these things are seasonal, and you don't have to break a bank. Because your neighbor does it, because you see people doing it, doesn't mean you have to do it too. And you necessarily don't have to wear red during this. We'll talk about that much later some other time. But this is still impulse buying we're looking at. So what does impulse buying resonate with you? Do you remember the last time you went to the market? So was it pure impulse buying? Which of the impulse buying category do you belong to? You need to know this. If it's pure impulse, if you're a pure impulse buyer, or a reminder impulse buyer, or a suggestion impulse buyer, or a planned impulse buyer. We'll go on another short break. This is still Glow TV, and you're on to the program Glow Chat Room, where we'll talk about it the way it is. Please stay tuned.
This is Glow TV. New episodes every week.
So you welcome back. It's still Glow Chat Room on Glow TV, and we're looking at impulse buying. Of course, we've talked so much the types of impulse buying, the causes of impulse buying, how to curb impulse buying, and then let me ask you, what's that 1%? Yes, the 1% rule for impulse buying or for impulse buys. Stop impulse buying with the 1% rule. Next time you're tempted, to make a big purchase, you need to try this particular simple rule that will be given to you live on Glow TV. If the item costs more than 1% of your annual income, wait 3 days before buying it. That sounds amazing, right? If it costs 1%, of course we didn't know 10%. If it costs 1% of your annual income, you have to wait 3 days, not 3 hours, or not even 3 minutes. Okay, 3 days, before buying it. After 3 days, or probably if you still feel like you need it, then you can go ahead and purchase it. That's the way it is. And some persons have asked me, is impulse buying an addiction? Yes, to some persons it's an addiction, and to others it's not, because they can actually do with or without it. So which category do you belong? Now, this causes of impulsive, but we've mentioned it earlier. Sometimes the desire for happiness is another thing. You just want to you just want to feel along or belong. You see your friends buying this, you also want to buy. You didn't plan it. Your friends had planned it that they will be buying it. But because you like it and you see them buying it and you want to be happy around your friends, and then you buy and then you purchase. Now, one of the causes of impulsive buying is a desire to create happiness. Easily tempted. So you have to be disciplined. You have to be financially disciplined. If you're not, trust me, you will definitely have issues when it comes to impulse buying. So you need to be financially disciplined. That's how to curb impulse buying. Now, there's another rule. Some person ask that if impulse buying is a mental disorder. Some professionals classify compulsive buying. Compulsive is when it keep reoccurring. You cannot do without it. You cannot control your cost for impulse buying. It becomes compulsive buying, and professionals have come out to say that once you experience compulsive buying, it's an obsessive compulsive disorder, while others liken it to an impulse control disorder. So if you cannot control your compulsive buying, it means that you have an obsessive compulsive disorder. Obsessive compulsive disorder, OCD. So when you see people say, "Oh, I have OCD," hey, you need to ponder on it, because you have to be very careful so you do not experience things like that. And now, the fact that compulsive shopping is not listed in the diagnostics and statistical manual of mental disorders, there are other ways. And of course, the 7 steps of the impulse purchase cycle. Now, the overview of the 7 phases, in the impulse purchase cycle. The first phase is first contact with the product. How do you feel? How did it trigger you? Seeing what you actually bought without planning, or what you intend to buy without planning. What does it resonate? How do you feel? The first contact with the product. And then the second thing is intrigue and emotional appeal. Oh, this would look really nice on me. If I have things like this, I would look really good during this period. Hey, take it easy. Okay, then presentation is everything. All right, presentation is everything. The way it is presented to you, the way you also present yourself is everything. And the third phase is consideration of product value. Now you need to consider if this thing is valuable to you or not after that moment, or even at that moment. There's so many things that you would see these days on the road on social media, in the market, at the mall, on your streets. You see so many things, but you need to consider if that product would be valuable to you. That's a consideration of product value. To check if, when you get this thing, what are the values you intend to gain from it. Let's say kitchen utensils for this period, and you feel like, oh, you would be needing this to ease your work in the kitchen as a woman, or even as a man. You think, oh, I would be needing this, to look good, not to stress myself, or I have something that I could just, apply on my hair, to look good without having to visit the barber or the barbing salon. And of course, internal debating process that happens to you and I, and making the decision to purchase is another thing. All right, that's how much we can take on today's edition of Glow Chat Room on Glow TV. Maybe next week, just maybe next week, we might have a guest on the program. Remember that advert is still going on our page Glow TV, and we are affordable. The numbers to call are on the screen, and do well to keep it locked on Glow TV. My name is Comfort Omolaf. A very big thank you to everyone who have listened. Bye for now.
This is Glow TV. New episodes every week.